Typical Sunday afternoon, one of the neighbours' kids came over and said, let's go down to Black Jungle, which was quite a popular little swimming hole. So I let them go because it wasn't an unusual request. Brioni jumped into the water and surfaced very briefly to yell out help, and then that was it, she was gone.
It's stealthy, it's deadly, it's powerful, it's magnificent.
Florida already handles over 1 million alligators, but now its croc cousins are on the rise.
We got it! Whoa. There will be a collision between people and crocodiles.
The Sunshine State looks to Australia's croc-infested shores,
Some people think there are as many crocodiles here as there are people.
where crocs and humans coexist.
I knew she wasn't coming home. I felt it in here.
As croc populations rise, will they start clashing with humans or stay in the shadows?
Right here you've got Crocodile Lake National Wildlife Refuge boundary managed for crocodiles. Just this side of the bridge you've got housing developments butting right up to each other.
This is where two worlds collide. You have our crocodiles and people right there.
Florida Keys. If anyone knows these waters, it's National Park biologist Mark Parry.
The largest American crocodile I've seen in Florida in 13 years of searching high and low for crocodiles was right around 16 to 17 feet.
Today, he's combing the residential waterways with croc expert Greg Erickson.
Our goal is to go out and see some of these animals in some of the urban areas and see where they're getting into.
Humans have moved into croc habitat. Now, quarters are cramped.
Last year, a pretty large lab got taken off a dock just on the other side of the island from where we are now. It just does become one of these situations. Getting too complacent around these animals can definitely put somebody at a higher safety risk. And you can see this is a mix. You've got pristine looking habitat here for a crocodile, and then residential all around it. How y'all doing?
Children fishing right at the water's edge. Recipe for disaster.
A crocodile down here is normally feeding on animals such as raccoons, and a dog and children are not that much bigger.
This is a classic reason why they're so stealthy, you know, they got places to hide.
Underneath these docks, you just don't see them.
But they see you, and if sight or hearing are blocked, they can pinpoint prey's location by smell.
There you go. It's a little barking raccoon, isn't it?
How y'all doing?
How you doing?
We've got the little dogs right there. We've got the guy spraying fresh water into the water and tossing fish traps. I mean, it's an attraction. It's the perfect storm. You don't worry about them with the dogs?
Yeah, we do, but, I mean, the dogs got to worry about them.
So what we've got here is about a 9.5-foot croc. It's right here in a residential area. We just saw fish coming right around the corner, right at the water's edge. And this is the situation we're dealing with here. We've got about 1.7 million acres total area for the whole park, including Florida Bay. Roughly half of that is potential crocodile habitat. "50
years ago, the Everglades in southern Florida weren't so croc-friendly.
We just screwed up the habitat really badly. All of southern Florida was ditched, diked, and dug, essentially to drain it and make it more hospitable for humans.
Salt water flowed into the glades, which didn't drive out the adult crocs, but made it impossible for babies to survive.
It became less suitable for hatchlings, so fewer animals were being able to survive to adulthood. And then on top of that, they were being harvested pretty heavily before they received protection.
Around 1975, we probably had 150, maybe 200 of these animals. Now the population's rebounded. We're seeing more encounters between crocodiles and people.
Floridians are working hard to help this iconic species recover. Signs are the efforts are paying off.
It was early in the morning, and I hooked a big fish, so I reeled him over to the side of the bank, and I went down to get him, and there's just a big splash. He took off again, and I'm going like, wow. And this crocodile popped up in the middle of the canal, and I realized he had my fish, and I had the line still attached to him. It looked like something out of Jurassic Park. It looked like a dinosaur. He turned around, broke the line, took off. Went down the bank about 50 yards, and I could see him eating my fish. Could have been my arm. You know, I was pretty lucky.
Fish makes up the lion's share of the American crocodile's diet. They can go for months without any food.
I was raised here my whole life. When I was a kid, you never ever saw a crocodile. Now there's crocodiles. It's amazing. And look, there's one right there.
Ed's encounter is yet another example of crocs colliding with people. Half a world away, in Australia's Northern Territory, saltwater crocodiles are a clear and present danger. Here, they've found ways to deal with their population of over 100,000.
Okay, lift that up there. You want to hook it up over?
Tommy Nichols is one of the region's premier croc wranglers.
Our main aim is to stop interaction between the public and crocodiles. Every crocodile that is seen in Darwin Harbour we try to capture and we get rid of. Tie them up and bring them into the boat. Okay. I had a brush with a crocodile which I lost 2 fingers and part of my hand, and that was during a routine capture. The crocodile, which has gripping teeth, he spun and ripped us off. You know what they're capable of doing, but you never know what they're going to do next.
A 24-year-old man is feared dead after he was last seen in the jaws of a crocodile near Kakadu National Park yesterday afternoon.
We just saw his friends hysterically screaming, shouting, you know, somebody get him help.
The man was celebrating at a birthday party when he and a friend decided to swim in the croc-infested water.
The weaker of the 2 swimmers was taken within metres of getting back to the riverbank, and horrific, really horrific.
Day 1 of filming for this program, our crew faced the grim scene.
At this point in time, we're searching for his body. We basically have a small section of river where we think the crocodile may have been lurking.
Oh, look, I don't know what went through the bloke's minds, but they obviously went for a swim, and one bloke suffered the results.
Now, Tommy and zoologist Adam Britton are patrolling the local waterways.
We have 26 permanent traps which are set in the management zone of Darwin Harbour and Shell Bay.
They're the first line of defense in controlling a croc population that's getting ever closer to the nearby city of Darwin.
There's probably at least 80,000 saltwater crocodiles in the Northern Territory.
From here now, we'll be bringing them into the boat. We'll tape his legs together because it slows him down a bit from causing us a problem and doing damage in the boat to us and to himself.
The state has a plan. Any croc caught in these waterways is too close to the city for comfort.
They all go to a crocodile farm. Once we deliver the crocodiles to the crocodile farm, it becomes their property and they can do what they wish to do with them.
At the croc farm, large females will be bred. Their offspring used for meat and hides. Males.
He's a male.
He's a male. So, unfortunately, his fate is to get turned into handbags now. But males of this sort of size, they really have no use for.
40 plus years after Australia put strict protections on its crocs, now it controls the ones that stray too close to the city.
If we didn't have this program going, the amount of number of crocodiles would be extremely high, and the chances of fatality would be extremely high.
Florida has got some similarities to Australia, but there's also got a lot of differences. I mean, Florida has got a lot of alligators. We're talking millions. And so I think people in Florida are used to the idea that they're sharing that space with wildlife.
While the gators are aggressive, the crocs here are naturally shy. Doesn't mean a bite won't hurt.
We're starting to see these animals with a little more frequency, and people are starting to wonder, what is that? It doesn't look like an alligator. They're starting to realize there's something else out there. An American crocodile is like an AWACS plane in the military, except it's in the water. These animals have a great sense of vision. They can pick up splashing in the water. They have excellent hearing. They have an excellent sense of smell.
We're hoping to capture one or two of these animals, take some measurements. We're trying to see, how fast they're growing, where they're going, and, chart their activity.
This is Cape Sable, one example of Florida's rising croc population.
I believe the population's almost reached carrying capacity. We're starting to see some of these animals spilling out into more urban areas. That's really important to understand where these animals range during their lives.
The Everglades is 1.5 million acres of impenetrable mazes, making tagging crocs hard, but not impossible.
There we go.
An American crocodile's nesting season runs from April to August. Each female lays about 50 eggs, but typically only 2 make it past the hatchling phase.
So this is an unmarked animal, which this little guy has beat the odds already by making it to this size.
It's a slender-snouted croc. It's, this animal's eating insects and maybe some small fish and things like that early on here. So when they get really big, that snout's going to broaden out, and this animal could actually start taking on large games.
I got to mark him. We'll give him a clip number so we can always identify this animal. We'll know how fast it's growing anytime we recapture it and where it came from. His number is going to be 6,981.
We've marked everyone we've caught individually. We can tell where they move back and forth from.
And these guys retain this really well. We can catch this guy again in 25 years, see where he's moved to, how much he's grown. And this is mostly just cartilage. They don't really even react to it usually. Taking every scoot off the animals. But that'll last for its lifetime, basically.
We're going to go find your daddy.
And the hope is that Papa Croc is a marked animal. Finding unmarked crocodiles adds a new entry to a growing database, but a recapture would mean they can track growth and location.
What we're looking for is an eye shine. Their eyes reflect, and there could be one right here, you wouldn't see it right now. But you put a light on it in the low light conditions, and that light lights up. It's like holding a lighter out in the dark. This area is awful soupy most of the time.
Yeah, I'm not too excited about our chances here.
Oh, he's over there.
Yeah.
What do you think that is? Probably 125 yards? Probably 150 yards? Chasing these guys across this mud's a trip.
Well, we've got about maybe 5.5 footer right here. A hatchling distress call will generally bring a crocodilian into close range if it's not too frightened already. You called it right in. I'll just call it in for you.
Nicely done. Hey, Greg, this one's already marked, man. I can read the clip number from here, and really that's all we need, so... Let's keep looking on down the river. There's one up that creek. That's as far as we're going to be able to go down this one. It's on the move. Yeah, he went in the water. This one's in a little better spot if we can get to it. Just went down. They're all being pretty skittish. And now that one's down. And man, they're spooky. Croc, right ahead. Straight ahead. He's across the water.
You got a nice croc. Let's go.
Probably the most dangerous time for a person around the crocodile is when they're trying to catch it. They're not animals you want to take lightly. I got her. Set it.
You got it. Come on. Catching a crocodile is always a dangerous and exciting event. It's sort of like bull riding for scientists.
It's a little cheeky. It can make a launch, so don't put yourself in front of it. Tighten that up.
Weight force, this animal's probably 1,000 pounds, maybe 1,500. This is a dangerous animal. There are no pretty good crocodile biologists. You're either good or you're missing an arm.
It starts to roll. You just pull off, because I'm going to let it go. Start getting that tape on there. Make sure you're in a place you can get away. It's still a dangerous animal because it does still have teeth sticking out everywhere. They have very sharp, thin, needle-like teeth. We've got teeth sticking out everywhere. Just watch it. You could take a slash at it. But if you're going to get hurt, it's going to be a laceration and not a decapitation. She's going to secure it. As they get bigger, the skull gets a little broader. This is an animal that is going to start eating larger prey.
And larger prey means reptiles, birds, and pigs, or potentially something bigger.
Try and work her up this way. Got it. Go. Okay, let's go forward. Right. As soon as you take your weight off, that's when they go.
Yep, that's fine.
Always keep pressure on them, even when you move them, and generally they behave. This is actually a new capture.
Just really beautiful.
It's pretty unusual for when you get this large without getting caught before. First, we'll get some more metric measurements. It's great when you get an animal that was marked. You know exactly where it came from, what year. Sometimes you know who the mother was, where it's gone to, where it's been in between. If she shows up in the Keys, we'll know where she came from, or at least where she was last time.
260.7.
And then we're going to go ahead and get a weight, 67 kilograms. It is a female.
Female, that's what I figured.
And then we'll give him a clip number.
DL08.
One catch at a time, Mark is compiling a database he hopes will eventually identify the majority of crocs in these waters, including the young crocodiles that are turning up outside the park's boundaries. Larger dominant males are pushing them out.
The more animals you get, the more competition. You're going to have dispersals, and it's mostly going to be your juveniles.
It's these juvies that are pushed out that make their way into neighborhoods and cities.
Those are surrounded by a major metropolitan area. High population, a lot of tourists, a lot of people that are naive to what we have going on here.
Nicely done, my friend.
The animals are expanding out. We have more crocodiles in more places today, inarguably, than we did 30 years ago and even 10 years ago. We are seeing more and more of them in the Keys. We are seeing more nesting down there. One of the reasons that the Keys are being re-inhabited and are becoming suitable habitat for some of these smaller animals is the artificial fresh water sources. Now you can have animals that actually grow up in that area and survive.
Great news for crocs, an adjustment for humans. There are 14 species of crocs world over, but only a few are known to attack unprovoked. That includes the Australian saltwater and the American crocodile. They're very different. They're a lot alike.
Both the American crocodile and the Australian saltwater crocodile, they can live in saltwater as adults. They require fresher water as juvenile animals. Neither is a saltwater exclusive animal.
Saltwater is a thicker build, its snout wider. American has a thinner snout and a crest on its brow. Both crocs can grow up to 20 feet in length, though the ones in Florida are smaller. They tip the scales at 1,000 pounds, though the salty can weigh even more, and they've got the chops to match.
Crocodiles have been in existence ever since dinosaurs. They can eat just about anything. They can go a month or two without food. They're very communicative, they're very smart. They can lose a limb and they never die from infection. You're looking at an animal that's really super adapted to its environment.
They're very efficient, deadly predators. They're extremely good at what they do.
As Mark's research shows, the habitat's restoration has helped the American crocodile rebound toward its natural population. And Floridians hope they don't become more aggressive. Just off the coast of Key Largo, in an area called Blackwater Sound, Leah Polson and her friend Mike Gregory experienced a life-changing brush with the local wildlife.
It was flat calm. She was just enjoying herself, laying in front of the boat, dragging her hands in the water.
He only had one kayak, and it was a one-seater, and I told him that it was fine, that we could go anyways.
And out of nowhere, we just get a big boom from the bottom of the boat. It's just going crazy.
Blackwater Sound, a saltwater basin adjacent to Key Largo. Two friends have an encounter they'll never forget.
Imagine going on a mechanical bull and you're getting bucked around.
I'm swallowing salt water and screaming. I'm in an instant panic, and when I reach my arms out, all I feel is this thick skin.
All I was thinking in my mind is jump back on this kayak.
All I can think is something is going to get me. I'm feeling, and I just reach all the way over to the other side, pull my body across its back, and jump in the boat.
Mike and Leah's original account suggested that their encounter might have been with a different animal.
We were not able to confirm positively that it was indeed a crocodile, though it was consistent. It could have been a sawfish, it could have been something else. No one ever saw a crocodile.
I believe it was a crocodile. I have a hole that I was able to stick about half my thumb in the back of my leg.
I had several puncture wounds, and I have some scars on the bottom of my leg from its teeth dragging across the back of my thigh, and it scratched my ribcage.
If it was a crocodile, it was probably submerged, trying to avoid them, just leave me alone. They dug their paddle in and pulled, trying to pull the kayak over the obstruction, and then it exploded. Whatever was there was gone.
Maybe this will open people's eyes. This can happen.
This encounter took place at the northernmost point of the American croc's habitat.
Most American crocodiles are found in Central and South America. That's where their best habitat is.
This is no teddy bear. They have killed children in particular in Central America and South America.
I think one of the reasons that we do see attacks in other countries is a lifestyle difference.
In these countries, people rely on the water for life. More humans and more crocodiles is a deadly combination. An American crocodile bit one man who swam directly into its domain. Keith Vanderhei got a taste of what the American crocodile is capable of firsthand.
I was in Costa Rica in the South Pacific. The water looked so nice, I thought I would go in for a swim. And just out of the blue, I felt this massive force. It felt like two people hit me with spiked baseball bats. I reared my head out of the water. I just saw this big tail going in front of me. screamed and saw the blood, and the water was all full of blood, and turned around as quickly as I could and half swam and half ran as soon as my feet could touch on the bottom. It was about a 2-meter long crocodile. It hit me precisely on my head and neck. The deepest puncture wound was directly over my jugular vein. But if a little more of the impact had been concentrated in my neck and head, it probably would have punctured my jugular. I just would have bled out right there.
If American crocodile populations increase to the level where they start threatening more people in the same way that they do in Central and South America, they do kill quite a few people every year, then Florida's going to have a bit of a problem on its hands.
It's just terrifying. Even a crocodile that clearly weighed less than me almost killed me.
It's not going to be easy to go out and catch a crocodile. American crocs, they're number one shy, they're number two smart. If you add those things up, we're going to have a tough night. We kind of have to go into catch mode. If you want to catch a crocodile, we need to catch one. Ready? Ready.
Wildlife biologist Joe Wazalewski lives in Princeton, just outside of Miami. He's grown fond of crocodiles over the years, so much so that he's adopted one in need of rehabilitation.
Are you hungry? Good boy. Okay, back just a little bit, just a little bit. Good boy. They're just so cool because people think of them as just killing devices where in reality, they're amazing animals. One more? No. You have to stay. Stay. There. How is that? It's still a wild animal, and given half a chance, this crocodile will bite me and this crocodile will hurt me. Stay. Stay. Well, you can see, I mean, he's pretty good. I'm ready to catch a sub-adult crocodile right now. We need to catch a croc now. The main job is to monitor the population. We get their growth rate, we get their movement patterns, we get to learn everything we can about crocodiles.
Including if they stray into populated areas. Tonight, Joe's right hand is Mario Aldecoa.
See him? Damn it. It's all right. He might come right back up again. They're completely nocturnal animals. They see well at night. They'll lie and wait until something comes down to the water, and as soon as that animal is within their reach, I can't even express to you how quick a crocodile is to lunge for its prey. He keeps coming up, so just go after it slow. Watch out. Too much, Mario, too much.
Watch it. Watch the bag. Don't matter. We got it. Oh. We good?
Do I got him? No. Got it.
Like the Everglades, these crocs are on the verge of overflowing.
I had that one again, Mario. It's a game of inches, and we were just a couple centimeters off. We're in the middle of a cooling canal system for a nuclear power plant. Altogether, it encompasses over 6,500 acres.
Turkey Point rests near the city of Homestead and about 20 miles away from the Everglades.
Little did they know what it would turn into be, and it's really a wildlife refuge. Crocodiles are a different animal. They have maternal instincts, they care for their young, they communicate among one another, which a lot of people don't think. They have brains, even though their brain might be the size of a black bean. Crocodiles are an amazing story of the natural world.
Man-made freshwater canals, ideal for croc nesting, and the great crocodile comeback.
In 1995, we estimated the population at about 40, and in 2005 at about 400, a tenfold increase in 10 years. There has to be a population limit to a given area. The males are moving out, they're looking for new habitat. We catch Turkey Point animals 50 miles away sometimes. They're expanding their range.
Searching for juvenile male crocs. Each one they catch will help prove young crocodiles are thriving in this area.
Go this way a little bit. Just go slow, go slow. Where was it?
It was on land.
Oh, right there.
Right there.
I saw him.
Is it in the water?
Yeah, he jumped in. He's gone.
Maybe we'll get her out in the open.
There's a female that nests right here every year, and she stays here and she protects these babies. Unlike other American crocs, usually they don't protect their babies. This one does.
There's one in there, Joe.
I see it. Mario.
Yes.
Is this over there? Slow. That's it, good.
It's going to come back up and it's going to hug the bank.
I don't see it. Woo! Got him. We don't know yet. Okay, we got him now. Make us right there.
It's a boat.
Yeah, we got him, but hold on. Wait, let me bring it around this way.
Got it, Joe?
Yeah. He's a sub-adult. Woo! All right. That's a big one. High five.
All right.
Woo!
Crocodiles may not be easy to catch, but they're out there, both in Florida and Australia. Just ask the mother of young Brioni Goodsell.
Brioni Goodsell was swimming with her sister and 2 friends in Darwin's rural area when she was attacked by a crocodile.
Her mother breaking down as she told the coroner her daughter was taken by the crocodile.
Typical Sunday afternoon, one of the neighbours' kids came over and said, let's go down to Black Jungle, which was quite a popular little swimming hole. So I let them go because it wasn't an unusual request. Brioni jumped into the water and surfaced very briefly to yell out help, and then that was it. She was gone. Nothing. She more than likely jumped on top of it. I don't actually come down here very often because the area is filled with sadness, and this is the actual area where the accident happened. I feel my baby girl here because this is where she was last, and she was returned to the earth here.
Northern Territory residents have been dealing with a croc problem for decades, and opinions here are divided on what to do about it.
I came up here in 1964, and we used to shoot them in those days, but we can't now. It's just getting to the stage where it's impossible to do anything.
Well, me, I don't go in the rivers. Not that stupid.
We should be able to cull a certain amount. Yeah, not wipe them all out, but certainly be able to shoot a few.
Don't cull them, don't get them all. But if they're fair enough, they can stay here,
In the Northern Territory, there is one simple rule. Don't get in the water that's not a designated swimming area.
What I would say to people right here, right now, throughout the world, whether they're travelling to Australia, whether it's to go to Florida, do not swim with them. Do not go into their territory because you won't come back.
Both the saltwater and the American were declared protected in the 1970s. Up till then, they'd been hunted to the verge of extinction. There were only 5,000 salties in the Northern Territory. Now there could be 20 times that many. Florida's crocs were down to just 200. Now there are roughly 10 times that number. There is one big difference between the two crocs.
Their behavior. American crocodiles are certainly less aggressive.
The American crocodile seems to be a much more reclusive, timid animal. It tends to feed on smaller prey than the notorious man-eater, the saltwater crocodile. Just the same, a large American crocodile is a dangerous animal.
Bottom line, if you get into a crocodile's turf, if you mess with it, it could attack you.
Crocs have actually hit upon a really smart strategy when they've evolved. They basically live in the water as ambush predators because animals have to come to the water in order to take a drink. You just sit in the water and you wait. The food comes to you.
But how they hunt isn't the only thing the American and saltwater crocs have in common. A croc's tail is half its body length, which enables it to charge through the water at over 5 miles per hour. Its blood carries more oxygen than any other vertebrate, so it can stay underwater 2 hours or longer. It's got a 270-degree field of view and a special layer behind the retina that gives it sharper night vision. Pressure receptors line the scales on their head to detect the slightest movement. The saltwater croc has a bite force of 3,700 pounds per square inch, the highest of any animal ever measured.
They have the strongest bite force of any living animal for their size. It's just an incredible amount of force. It's intended to lock onto something and not let go.
These features are just some of what makes the crocodile one of the most resilient and awe-inspiring species on Earth.
Right now, we're in Kakadu National Park. And it's got some of the greatest populations of saltwater crocodiles anywhere in this region. Every so often, you get a crocodile around Cowles Crossing, which is a very popular spot for fishermen, that gets a little bit too cheeky, gets a little bit too close to fishermen. 20 years ago, a fisherman was killed at Carl's Crossing, and it was really quite horrific. This attack was witnessed by quite a few other people. But now, it doesn't dissuade people from getting in the water and doing really silly things in order to catch a fish.
We're looking at individual crocs that may potentially pose a risk to people.
So we're going to catch it, and we're going to haze it. We're going to put it through an experience, and it's never going to forget. Every so often, you get a crocodile that gets a little bit too close to fishermen. So you catch the crocodile and you put it through this process called hazing that the crocodile remembers, hopefully, for many years. It's the kind of thing that makes it fearful of people. It's a little bit like being abducted by aliens.
Midstream here, look. This is a high interaction zone, so we're going down there now. The rangers in this district told us about a couple of crocs then sort of looking at people, and they're the animals we want to target. We've got 5 crocodiles right on the road's edge, and it's not unusual some nights to have a lot of fishermen there, and basically it's a high risk zone for a crocodile attack.
Spotlight on that croc, Adam.
The spotlight allows you to get up on the animal. Reverse, Patrick. And neutral. We've got a crocodile that's on the line here, and basically we'll play that animal for quite a while like a big fish because we want to tire that croc out. He's rolling and twisting a bit, Fred. He's doing 10 or 20 death rolls in 5 to 10 seconds. It's pretty scary stuff.
So now this is the dangerous part. What we've got to do now is secure the jaws. We can't bring him into the boat until he's safe to do so.
We're going to put a plastic zip tie on him now. Okay, so just, yeah, that's good. Keep it behind that knot there. You want to minimise all the risks. So get him alongside, get his jaws shut, taped up, get his eyes covered. He's still dangerous there, David, with his jaws. See how that rope? Yep. Jaws still, if you get your fingers in there and he rolls, you can get cut up by those teeth. You don't want to be too casual about it because that's when things can go wrong pretty quick.
Last bit out.
Okay, you got the tension up? All right. And one incident might just change the way your life is after that. Feeding through and just take it. And then half pitch it straight away. Fred, straight on top. Beautiful.
Adam and Gary hope that hazing will prevent incidents like this.
A man has been killed by a saltwater crocodile near Darwin. The 22-year-old was taken by the crocodile in the Finnis Rivers.
Red man was out on the river messing around with his friends, and they had their quad bikes and they'd obviously been having a great time.
After a long day of biking, Brett and his 2 friends decided to rinse off in the river.
And his 2 friends were so freaked out about this that they climbed up the nearest tree. They didn't know what to do.
According to Brett's friends, the croc returned. They weren't about to get back in the water, so they stayed in the tree for 22 hours.
Oh, we'll head back to the boat ramp now, Patrick.
Got him. Whoops.
Put his head next to it.
Okay.
Closer. Okay. All right, carry him over. Yeah. You can actually just put his head that end at it.
Yep.
And just lie him straight on the table. Keep coming. Hang on. Yep. Now pull his legs up.
I don't think he's very happy, basically. He's just been pulled out of the river, hoiked over the side of the boat, tied up, trussed up. But there's a reason behind this madness. This animal was hanging around the boat ramp. We're basically trying to teach this crocodile a lesson. It is going to know very well what happens if it gets too close to people, and hopefully it stays away from them. It's aversive conditioning. you're not going to forget that kind of thing very easily. So every time they hear a boat, they remember that experience that they had being caught and being processed, and they stay away from people.
Any guesses, boy or girl?
A boy. Okay, it's a female. This croc's not going to forget this experience.
Perfect. Go. Just bring it down. Got him up.
Bit of a drip there.
Okay, put his snout on this side, Adam. Yep, walk. Go. So you got to pull it right, Chris? Break the side. Come on, Patrick.
Well, get this one out. Run for it. Get out of there. Yep. So it wouldn't be on that side. Ready? Get it.
You got him up? So just bring it down slowly.
Saltwater crocs have been known to live to about 70 years. Experts hope that this one won't forget the hazing it's getting tonight.
What people don't fully appreciate is the dangers of a croc when it gets you. If they fully realise what a croc can do and what we know they can do, they would have a different attitude.
They're all individuals. They're very interesting personalities. They can think, or they can learn. They could be compassionate, and that fascinates people.
Give the croc the full respect it deserves. Go on this one here.
That last one on the sand, okay.
And put his snout on this side, Adam. That's it. Everyone walk.
Ready?
Yep, walk.
Watch it, watch it.
See you later.
Florida doesn't haze its crocs on a regular basis.
It's one of those horrific experiences for the crocodile, which hopefully means it will stay away from people. And it doesn't kill the crocodile, and that's very important, because here we're in crocodile habitat, and we're visitors to that habitat.
And the Northern Territory has learned that respecting these crocs can help the local economy.
It's all part of the idea of giving the animal a value. If crocodiles are valued by people, if there's a tourism industry that values crocodiles, then people will want to keep crocodiles around. And when someone gets attacked by a crocodile, okay, it's a big tragedy, and let's try and stop it from happening ever again, but don't touch our crocodiles, because we like them.
Florida and Australia really have worked to reestablish the populations of these crocodiles, and boy, has it worked in Australia.
And with a little more work, Florida's crocs will keep thriving.
These crocodiles move. When their population gets too crowded, they'll either kill and eat themselves, or the males, usually the subordinate males, will move out. Sometimes a female will push out a subordinate female. Is it a big one?
Joe Wazalewski and his sidekick Mario are hoping that the croc they're snaring is a subadult juvenile.
Got him!
The info they gather will help them monitor its potential movements toward human habitat.
Wait, let me bring it around this way.
You got it, Joe?
Yeah. He's a subadult. Get the tape. Hold on. I got a good bite on it, too. I think, yeah, it's tired out. It's tired out pretty good.
Ready?
Yeah. Go ahead.
She may not like this.
Go ahead. You got the tape? Okay, a little more. There we go. Okay, let's take this snout snare off.
Yep. Ready?
So far, there has never been killing in Florida. However, the day may come where that might change, simply because of the crocodiles getting bigger, expanding their range, and people being not smart around them. Let's let him tire himself out. Yeah, you got it?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. There we go. All right, that's a beauty. Woo, woo. The head length is 30.6 HW, 7.8. This is a subadult male in a population of big males. He's going to get his ass kicked. And when that happens, if he doesn't get killed, he's going to get chased out of this population. And this is a perfect candidate for a crocodile to be behind somebody's house, and this thing in a second can just explode.
All right.
It always feels good to catch a crocodile. Whether this is the first one I ever caught or the 10,000th one I ever caught. It's a good feeling to catch a crocodile. Don't let anybody kid you.